You're listening to the Beans and Dice podcast, a podcast about how we game.
Okay, I think everything's working.
Hey, folks.
Hey, welcome.
Hey.
Bam-ba-down. No.
Oh, wah. Yeah, something like that. More than bam-ba-da. Welcome to the Beans and Dice podcast, a podcast about
How we game. I'm Carlos.
I'm Rob.
And I'm Wayne.
And we're a podcast about how we game.
Oh, I already said that. I stole your thunder this week.
Yeah.
And now, see, I jump in, try to take some initiative, and it screws you all up.
It does. But you know what, though? Just to be honest, this is how we game. This is how it is, right? Wayne and I were in the middle of a game of Blitzkrieg.
Yep.
And I was whooping him.
Well, he never played before. First
it
play.
Still counts.
Come on.
It still counts.
Yeah.
Like 5 points ahead.
Yes.
Whooped.
I'm going to take what's Vin Diesel say? By an inch or a mile? By an inch or a mile.
Win's a win.
I'm going to activate the phone line because I don't have any specific topics prepared for tonight.
Tonight.
So let me get this phone line open, and we'll get the callers in.
813-618-7099. Of course, the purpose of our show is to talk to you, so we'll banter and do our thing. But if you got something you want to talk about, definitely call us. As every week, we'll chat about anything board game related, even not board game related, geek related. But any news you've heard about, anything coming out, anything that you've played recently, we want to hear what you're up to. Introduce us to a new game. We've had tons of people call in and just tell us about games we'd never heard of. We pulled them up on the BGG, kind of looked them through. We've learned games that we've never learned before. And Mitchell's already in the chat saying, Carlos, it is your turn on Blood Rage. I was just talking about that on BGA. We're playing our first game of Blood Rage, and we just got done with the draft. Took us all day to do the draft, 4-player async, but I just got my first turn where I actually got to do a thing, and I was like, yes, this feels awesome. So...
Hey, Mitch, how's our audio? I know last week we had some trouble with it, but any feedback would be greatly appreciated.
Any clipping, anything? The level's good? Yeah, let us know.
So I think two news bits that I found today or listened to today. Asmodee, I guess, announced that they're gonna do cookbooks.
Oh, I saw that.
Based on Ticket to Ride and Catan.
I saw that. A cookbook based on Ticket to Ride. That was the one that really got me. I mean, what is it? Is it going to taste like engine oil? Or,
well, I think about you could do like the best
Swedish,
the best dish of every city across America.
Norwegian,
or best dish across U.S.
I guess you could go that way. When I think of it, I think of train game, and I'm like, how are you going to taste trains?
But it's just cookbook based on Catan. You have clothing based on Catan. So like they're branching out from the board game and using that IP to sell ancillary things, which I think is good for the industry in general because it makes it more out there,
Sure.
I guess it's like AlphaTauri with Red Bull. It's a whole clothing line, but it was Red Bull. It was a drink, right? So now they have a full clothing line. They're doing all
like I have that Catan.
They want to be like a huge conglomerate.
Yeah, I have the Catan hat from a couple years ago that they did. So I think that's just interesting that you're seeing now them using board game IPs to do things outside of board gaming. It was
the pop culture.
Yeah, pop culture. I'm sure people buy the cookbook, And then the other thing was the UK Games Expo announced their awards list.
That was interesting.
It was talked about on
Board Game
Breakfast this morning. It was interesting that Tom was slamming them because half the games they shouldn't have been in the category or from 2 years ago.
Or they just came out like last week.
Last week. So I was going to say, an awards list, and I agree with Tom on that, and I think it's the awards list that would make fun of more than I would make fun of the Dice Tower Awards nominee list is the UK Games Expo. But I think he made a quick point that in order to be nominated, you have to have a booth at the UK Games Expo, which is like
the pay to play.
Yeah, kind of. They're trying to boost the people that are there. But he was saying that a lot of those brand new games that are either, I think he said some of them even aren't out yet. Some of the Kickstarters haven't even come out yet. But he was saying that they'll probably have demos of all those games at the con so people can play them, and then the people that attend the con vote on them, and so they can play them, they can vote on them. But he was saying, as he mentioned, he's like, I don't think I'd put much stock in that, just because it's people's first impressions or whatever. So it's not much of an award, but
so I wasn't a huge fan of that. And he said some of them were from 2 years ago, some of them from this year.
Yeah,
many of them didn't fit the category, which is kind of interesting.
Well, the one from a couple years ago was Carlos's favorite, one of your favorites, the worker placement. I'm drawing a blank. The Indiana Jones style worker placement.
Arnak?
Was on there, and then they had games that hadn't even come out yet. Tom was like, "Whoa, this is like really both ends of the spectrum here. Games that are technically 2 years old, and then games that are not even out yet." So anyway, but yeah, that was interesting. Interesting watch this morning.
I found the article here about the Asmodee Entertainment announcing a brand partnership with independent book publisher Ulysses Press to create and release cookbooks based on Catan and Ticket to Ride. Yeah. Let's see if it explains a little bit. With fans around the world, Catan is available in 40 languages and sold in 40 million units since it's published. Let's see. To talk about what they're going to put in it.
I don't think there was much at all.
Catan, I can't think much of, but for Ticket to Ride, you have all the different countries, so you could literally do like, eating across America, where you have, you have something from New Orleans and something, Cuban from Florida, and you have hot dogs from whatever. So you could do like, dishes that are regional based, and then for countries, I mean, you take it right Europe, you can just basically do the best, the most well-known
tour of Europe.
But for Catan, I'm like,
you got sheep and wheat and
shepherd's pie.
Shepherd's pie. There you go. A little mutton.
That is about it. Shepherd's pie.
Pork chops. I don't know. Mutton chops.
So I thought that, hey, I'll probably check them out because my wife loves to cook. So
yeah.
Mitch is calling Rob out for forgetting the name of Arnak.
Oh yeah, well that's it is the inferior version of a better game, but
Rob is aging.
Yeah,
he can't help it.
Old senile guy. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Mitch says he can understand calendars based on games, but frisbees,
Stonemaier,
and cookbooks are just strange.
Did Mitchell just make fun of
Stegmaier?
I don't know.
Jamie Stegmaier?
Oh, my Lord.
I mean, repercussions. Repercussions.
Yeah. Well, Stegmaier's a well-known lover of disc golf, and so that's the tie-in there. He talks about disc golf all the time being one of his favorite ways to get outdoors. So that kind of makes sense for him personally. But it is a little odd when I first heard it that he's releasing a line of his own discs. It's like,
it was like his quasi-April Fool's thing.
Yeah.
It's real.
But it's real.
He's really doing it.
Yeah, he's really doing it. So, interesting.
I did buy into his April Fools before, though. I bought and I think, Robert, I gave you a set of it.
The little magnifying
the
glass?
jeweler's lens.
Yeah.
Because he had made a joke about making 3-point font so that he can put more text on cards.
Yeah.
And he sold Stonemaier etched jeweler's lenses. I thought that was pretty cool.
I just think that the more you see board game IPs out in the real world, outside of our little insular area, it means that it's getting more exposure, which means that it's making more money, which means more money be put into it, which in general should be a good sign.
BJ from Board Game Gumbo saying he's loving his Stonemaier discs. He said he's already bought 7 of them already. So, all right. Well, it's a thing. I played disc golf when I was in college, and I had a collection of about 10 discs. So, yeah.
I would. Is there a disc golf place in Tampa? Because
they're all over. They're all over the place. Yeah.
Robert and I played for a while. That we played.
Yeah, there was 2 or 3 different places, real local here, pretty close. And I know downtown. I told you there was the Picnic Island has a luxury course over there. It's really nice looking. But we got our first call coming. It sounds like
Beans and Dice Podcast. State your name. Where you calling from?
This is Mitchell from New Iberia, Louisiana.
Hello, Mitchell. Did you buy any discs?
What's up? I did not. Apparently, BJ did. Maybe I can borrow his.
He got 7 of them. You can go. I'm sure he's got some to spare. Yeah.
He says at $10 for high quality disc, it's a steal.
That is a good deal.
Yeah. Apparently, the disc company is like that. That's what they do for. They make disc golf.
Nova, I think it is.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
But you didn't call here to talk about disc golf.
Surprisingly, no.
Oh.
I played a couple of games last week. I played a game of Brew. You hear Brew, if you don't know what it's about, it sounds like it's about like making beer or something, but it's about like brewing potions. You guys heard of this one?
I played it.
Armada Games has a copy.
Yeah, I played it about a month and a half ago. I played it over at your turn, actually, but I did get a chance to play it. Yep.
Yeah, I want to like it because it's got some unique mechanics. I'm sure Rob hates it because it's dice-based.
Yeah, there are dice, yep. But the dice don't have numbers on them, but go ahead.
Fair enough. I kind of like the theme that the game actually is. It's like it's almost like it's Pokemon you're recruiting, and then like you're like these explorers like trying to take over the forest and stuff. But the title Brew, referring to potions, I feel like the potions that you're brewing are almost an afterthought. Like they can give you some cool powers, but it brought me back to whenever we talked to Evan Halbert on my channel, and he said something that was really interesting to me. He said, if a game has a core mechanic, it's the designer's job to get the player to want to interact with that core mechanic. And I feel like if you're marketing this as a game about brewing potions, that should be the most interesting part, the thing that I want to do. But the really, to me, what the game is it's an area control and worker placement game where what you're placing are your dice based on what you roll. You can place them in different places. And so that was a disconnect for me. I enjoyed that part of it, but it was extremely tight. There's so much take that because you could place a die, and you can even place a die somewhere where it doesn't match and pay an extra resource to do that, and to try to control this forest because you want forest to match up with the animals you recruit for more points. But then someone could go, I think it's a fire die you can play and block somebody else's, and you could do all kind of things where you're screwing other people up. And it's just for what seems like a light theme based on the art and things like that, it was a little bit too take daddy for me. But I enjoyed it enough to want to play it again. What did you think of it, Rob?
Well, just real quick, and Wade's got something he wants to say as well, but I agree to some extent. There's definitely a fair amount of take that, although there is a bit of a detriment to doing that. I mean, you are kind of foregoing something else that you might be able to do to try to mess somebody else up. So I feel that does balance it somewhat. I'll admit that we played a rushed game of it. Raphael from our group taught us right before they were closing your turn for the night, and we had 35 minutes for him to teach it and for us to play. He taught me and my daughter, Emmy. And so we kind of rushed through a game of it, so we didn't have much time to think. We just kind of threw down dice and ran through it. But I do agree. I mean, it's definitely not a solitaire type game. There is a lot of player interaction. There's a lot of messing with each other, and there's an opportunity there. Like you say, if for some reason you really wanted to gang up on somebody, you really could. So yeah.
Well, it seems like in the glut of games that come out, you have kind of one chance to do a first impression, right? And it very quickly. So poor name and brew, because like you said, every time I hear that game, I'm thinking, it's a beer game about...
It came out right around the same time as other either kick-started games about alcohol.
Yeah, they're not distilled or not the Belgian beer company or whatever.
And there was a barkeep game or a bartender game. It all kind of came out at the same time. So this kind of melded in there.
Into there. And then Mitchell, you just said that you felt that the brewing of potions was almost ancillary to or an afterthought sometimes. So it's the main name of the game, which confuses people for games about making a brewery or brewing or whatever, is also something that's not necessarily a main factor of the game. So it seems like it's missing on two fronts with that name.
Right, and just to jump back in, I'm not a theme guy, as most of our watchers know. I could really care less about theme, but thinking back on it, I mean, brewing potions certainly didn't come through as far as a theme. I mean, you're placing dice, your area control, kind of worker placement, your set collecting. I guess the set collecting is where you're actually making potions, but it doesn't come through strong that that's what you're doing. You're kind of set collecting stuff to get a card that allows you an ability that gives you some points. But brewing potions, I guess, was really an afterthought in it.
What would you give it as your review, Mitch? What would you say?
Like a number you're talking about, like a rating?
I love that. The BGG, 0 to 10 or 1 to 10.
Do you have it in front of you, the descriptors of each number?
Yes, I have BGG up. Let me pull it up for you.
He's going to get it.
Let me remind the folks, this is the title called Brew. It's published by Panasaurus Games, designed by Stevo Torres, and it currently has an average of a 7.3.
Just to throw it out there, I would say a 7. I liked it. I liked it about a 7. It wasn't great, but it was good. I liked the mechanics in it, but Carlos is working on pulling up the rating scale. So
I have them here in front of me.
Okay, there you go.
I would say maybe a 6 that I'll play if I'm in the mood for it.
Okay.
What Carlos said a while ago about there being other games about brewing, alcohol come out at the same time, that's actually the only reason I played it. My friend was like, "Hey, I'm thinking about bringing these games tonight. Which one are you interested in?" He said brew, and I was like, "Oh, I heard about that. I like viticulture. I wonder if it's something like that." I'm like, well, this is not what I thought it was.
A little different.
Another complaint to have about it, and the thing, it's not a horrible game, but there's a cool mechanic where I don't know if it's based on player count, but the game we played was 4 different rounds. Every round, the main action board flips. You can put your dice either on a worker placement space, or you can put it in an area majority space. Every round, those worker placement spaces, man, it's a tongue twister, the board flips. So you have different options from round to round. The problem is, for me, it was my first play. I have no idea what's on the other side of this board. Once people start putting dice on it, I can't flip and look. So if you're trying to plan out, hey, what am I going to do next round, unless I've played the game a lot, I don't know what's coming, and I don't like that. I like having all the information available to me if it's supposed to be,
Because of the flipping of the board, it's hidden information you're not going to see until a certain time in the game, so you can strategically plan for those things. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, yeah, but the thing is, like, if you play 4 or 5 rounds of this, games of this, you're going to know what's on the other side. So it's not really hidden information. But for new players, it's hidden information. And, a more casual gamer might not care because they're not thinking that far ahead. But you guys know, I go hard in, and I want to know what my options are going to be after we all place this last die and we're moving on to the next round. Because that may determine where I put that die.
Yeah, Mitch goes hard in the paint.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember how much that affects things, though. I remember a lot of the game resetting when you flip. There wasn't much carryover because you have those cards. Don't the cards switch as well?
Yeah, but I'm just talking about, like, maybe resource-wise. Because a lot of that main board is gathering and spending resources.
Sure.
Like, if I know I want to do an action on the other side and I need a certain resource for it, I may want to plan ahead because I have this extra die and I already accomplished what I wanted to do this round.
I heard you say Pokemon. Brother, you're right.
Yeah.
Like, they just stole this.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. But,
So that's a cool. You can have 3 active animals at a time that you can use their power. Once you have 3, you have to start discarding, but they're 1 point each. But if you have a fortress that you claim to the area majority area that matches their, like, season, then it's 3 points. So that's kind of the set collection Rob was talking about.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, and I like the etched dice. The dice are really cool looking. They're nice,
They're pretty,
high quality, pretty dice. Yeah, the art's nice.
It can't be the only game you played, though.
Pokemon-esque, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Another game. I've been really wanting to play Tiny Epic Dinosaurs. I like, Tiny Epic Pirates. We all played that together. And Dinos just piqued my interest. Have you all played that one?
Robert and I did.
Yeah. Yep. I've played a couple times. Yep.
A few times, I think.
So Jeremy has it, but he had never read the rules, so it kept getting put on the back burner. Like I've mentioned, we're doing this challenge where we play all of each other's games. So he finally read through the rules again, and we played it. And I enjoyed it. It was a lot tighter than I thought, than I expected. Whenever I started that game, I felt like there was no way I was going to be able to finish what I wanted to do. For those who don't know, you're making dinosaurs, and you have to have pins for them. Dinosaurs of like types have to stay in a like pin. If there's more than one of them, they're going to breed. If you don't have space for them to be with their own species, or if you don't have a wall, they may break out and break parts of your park or eat other dinosaurs. As you get more dinosaurs, it's like you're covering up farm spaces, so it's harder to feed them. And people are like contracting you to sell them certain sets of dinosaurs. It's worker placement. It's kind of like Honey Buzz, where like you can go where another worker is, but then now you have to place 2 workers. And the next person has to place 3 workers. So in terms of worker placement, it was a positive player experience because even though you went there, I can still go there. I just have to spend an extra worker. The board that I'm talking about, the tightness is where, and I have to know exactly how many of these walls I need and how much space I need so these carnivores aren't with these herbivores. But I enjoy it. How does it rank compared to the other Gameland games for you guys?
I would say for me, it's up there. I'm still a lover of the original. Galaxies, I think, is still my favorite of the series. I liked the dinosaurs. We played at least 2 or 3 times. I remember my first game I did really well, and I kind of managed everything. The second game we played, my dinosaurs started breaking their pins, and I felt at that point it was a snowball. I couldn't get them back under control, and the whole game felt like it was just me trying to control these
Jurassic
dinosaurs.
Park movie.
Yeah, they were multiplying and just breaking
that.
stuff down, and I felt like I had no chance to come back and win that one. So that one was a bad second experience for me. But overall, I liked it. Again, I think I'd give it around a 7. It was fun, but I'm still a lover again of the original. Tiny Epic Galaxies, I think, is still my favorite.
I gave it a 6. Okay.
Okay, there you
I'm
go.
willing to play. I have the mats. I have the upgrades to it. It didn't really show well in the pictures, but those dinos are really tiny, like the little raptors and everything.
They're very interesting. I'm very surprised with how detailed they can be on such a small scale, but they break easily. Several of Jeremy's were broken, and it was our first play.
Nice.
Yeah.
This is on my list.
One complaint I had about those small components. I'm sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say this is just on my list of. I have every Tiny Epic game, and I've played about half of them.
Okay.
So this is on the half. This is one of the ones on the half I haven't gotten to the table yet.
Yeah, I wouldn't rush to play it. I mean, if you're trying to play through them all, I think it's probably I haven't played all of them either. I've played probably 4 or 5, well, more, maybe 5 or 6 of the Tiny Epics, and I'd put this kind of in the middle somewhere. Yeah,
There's like 10 of them now.
yeah, I know it's crazy, but yeah.
No, the spaces are cool. So all the locations you go to, I think, are pretty cool. I like the lab cards where you're upgrading. I like worker placement games where things get upgraded. You're just not going to the same locations over and over again. You're upgrading what your things do. I like the contract part of it. Right, you draw a card and try to fulfill a contract. I like the pen placement piece of it. But I think the reason I had a 6 at the end of the day was there were so many things going on. Again, Tiny Epic. It's not a light game.
So that's one thing. And so for me, the Tiny Epic games, I've in my head, to me, they're just the ability to replace a big game with a small box that I can travel with. So like Tiny Epic Galaxies plays really well, but it's similar. There's a lot of similar mechanics to a lot of other sci-fi, capture planets things. Does this game give you the feel of Dinosaur World or Duelist? Any of those?
I was going to mention that this definitely feels like a shrunk down version of is it Dinosaur Island?
Dinosaur
is it the
Island,
one? Yeah, that was the kind of the first big one that came
Panosaurus
out.
one.
And that one I like more. Again, I am definitely more of a Euro gamer. I'm more of a bigger and more complex is better. I love my bigger, heavier games. This felt like just a really condensed version of that.
So like that's what I'm saying. Like so, like if I'm here at home or your Carlos' house, we're gonna bust out Dinosaur Island. But if I'm traveling
Sure.
and I want to bring something with me, I would bring Dinosaur.
But Mitch said positive player experiences, and I think the reason this game gets a 6 for me and not higher is there are negative player experiences.
Yeah.
The whole pen aspect, controlling the dinosaurs, the consequences of having a
Right.
carnivore out there eating dinosaurs that you need.
Yeah,
I mean, it's so penalizing. I didn't feel, Mitch, I don't know how you called it a positive player experience. I felt negative player experiences.
I mean, just get good,
Yeah, play better. Play better. Don't let that happen.
My comment to what Wayne said. So I haven't played Dinosaur Island. I'm a unicorn here. I played World, which is the harder one, and I played Roller Right, which is the lighter one. But I've been told that World is a lot like Island. I feel like this is completely different from that because in Dinosaur World, I don't know if it's like this in Island. It's more about building a route from one building to the next and trying to maximize what's being built. I don't know if Island is like that.
Island is
but
all
this
about
nothing like that.
breeding dinosaurs and penning them in and trying to get set collection and stuff.
Visitors to visit and pay
visitors.
you money to visit them. Yeah. So this does seem more like Dinosaur Island. And I think that'd be an interesting topic, maybe not for tonight, but like take the Tiny Epic games and match it up to a bigger
that'd be a
game,
fun
bigger
one.
version of
that.
like what
Yeah.
Let's do that next week. Wayne coming up with topics. This is why I keep y'all around.
I'm useful sometimes.
And I keep Mitchell around because he's always the first caller. We appreciate
once
that.
again.
We really do.
Well, sure thing. Well, let me free up the line. Thanks for the call. Have a good show.
All right, Bobby.
calling.
Take care.
Yep.
That was Mitch from New Iberia, Louisiana. Thank you, Mitchell.
But I think that's probably why a lot of the Tiny Epic games haven't been played by me yet, because I typically take them to conventions or I take them when I'm on vacation, and that's when I play them. Because, like, if I'm going to play Tiny Epic Western, I have other games I would play. Tiny Epic Dinosaurs, I have, Tiny Epic Zombies, there's zombie games. So to me, these are my travel games that I'm going to take on vacation. So that's why I have probably a few that aren't played yet.
That makes sense. I just, again, having played the bigger version of it, it seems like now anytime I play that, it's like, ooh, that's just the smaller version of that other game that I really kind of liked. Right. So yeah, it's hard.
That's kind of where I end up, Rob.
Yeah.
Is the feeling of I could play the bigger one,
right,
but then I get into the rules, and it's just that separation, that dichotomy. I grab the box thinking, okay, this should be easy peasy. I throw Tiny Epic Dungeons on the table, and it's like, no, this is like a heavy dungeon crawler.
Yeah.
But I do need to acknowledge for the folks real quick. Yes, that was a cat.
There was a cat meowing in the background. Yeah.
It is my cat.
Yeah.
For some reason, 9 o'clock.
He likes to make
Thursday nights.
It's time to eat.
It's
Man.
So sorry about that, Diego. Sorry about that, Kyle in Chi-Town. Hey, Kyle, quick shout out to you, buddy. I know it's the 12th; it's a day behind, but I want to acknowledge the first month of his new child.
Oh yeah,
Congrats.
okay.
Declan, if I remember correctly, Declan turned 1 month yesterday.
Cool.
So he's a new papa and with a baby at home, and probably not a lot of gaming.
Probably not.
But to your point, though, with the Tiny Epic games, you can travel with it though. It's that if you're here in your house, you're going to take out any one of the big box games and plop it out there, but you can't take that big box with you on a plane.
Yeah, I completely see what you're saying. It's just, again, once I've played the bigger version and then you play the smaller version, that's just always kind of in the back of my head. I'm like, oh, yeah, I mean, this is probably the best game for this situation, but gosh, I really wish I could be playing the big one.
The big one, yeah. That makes sense.
So, yeah. Anyway, it's just a thing. But phone lines are open again. 813-618-7099 are the digits. Call in our phone line. Back to the one line still. But
any non-BGA games this week for you?
Yes. What have I played this week? We played. Oh, we got a call coming in.
There we go.
Beans and Dice Podcast. State your name. Where are you calling from?
It's Ron Frazier from Atlanta, Georgia.
Hey, Ron. How you
My
doing?
man, Ron Frazier on the line.
Hey, my goal was to be the second caller for these shows.
Woohoo! I like how we've created like a meta game.
So there's a list. Everybody, every week you got a number. You got to get in line. You got to get your spot. So
You gotta get the line. Exactly.
What you been up to?
A little bit of BGA. Yeah, that's been the thing.
Yeah, that's been the hot thing in our group the last couple of weeks. I think Wayne is mostly responsible for that. He set up the Beans and Dice group on the BGA. Yep. He's been setting up game after game after game for us. How many games do you have going on right now, Wayne?
I'm down to 18.
He's at 18 simultaneous games right now that he's involved in on BGA.
My high this week was 30. At one point in time, I had 30 games going on BGA.
BGA Board Game Arena, just for everybody to know. But what are you playing? What are you loving on Board Game Arena?
Nuts. So actually, I've only played two different games. Can't Stop, once again, apparently thanks to Wayne.
Oh yeah.
And Seven Wonders Duel, which I played against. Yeah, that's one of my favorite games, and I like playing it. And I'm learning the whole thing with the asynchronous play. Like, it really throws me off. But I find that, like, I know Seven Wonders Duel fairly well, and so playing asynchronous is no problem.
I was going to ask, how are you liking the BGA experience? How are you liking the interface? How are you liking the setup?
I love the experience. Like, I play most of my turns on my phone. Actually, as a matter of fact, I've played almost all of my stuff on the phone. Like, I played. There was a point in time in my Seven Wonders Duel game that I got on my desktop, and it was like a different world. Like I can see everything.
Yeah, everything. Like, I love it. The desktop play is completely different to me. We're doing Blood Rage right now, and I tried it on my phone. I just can't do it. My turn's going to take longer until I get to a computer. I'm sorry. It's just going to be that way.
So mine. I've only played on the phone. I haven't played on a full screen yet. So I've kind of gotten used to navigating everything on my little Android. So yep.
Yeah, and I can't do that. When I take breaks or whatever at work or on lunch, I can only play on one of my own personal devices because that side to get blocked. But
sure.
Yeah, man, it's been great. I'm just keeping things simple right now. But you guys were talking about the Tiny Epic game. I've only played less than a handful. But one game I really love is Tiny Epic Quest.
I have not played Quest yet.
I have not. Wayne, is that one you played?
Tiny Epic Zelda, love it.
Is it really?
Ron, is he right? Tell us.
Yes, it's Zelda. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it.
I'm in the middle of Breath of the Wild on the old Switch there, so I'm playing through that for the first time.
Sequel comes out next year.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But
did you steal your kid's Switch, Robert?
I gave it to him for Christmas, and I'm about the only one in the household who's ever played it. So, yep, it was just sitting there collecting dust for like 3 or 4 months.
You also bought your wife a bowling ball?
Yeah, exactly.
No?
Yeah, and I'm the only one who uses it somehow.
You got to sign up for the Nintendo Switch Online. It's like $50 for the year,
I know.
And then you get classic Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and N64, and you get like 50 games for each of them.
Go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah. Sorry. Sidetracked you there, Ron.
Tiny Epic
Quest. Yeah, that's a good one. That's one of their better ones.
Well, let's keep that game going though, Ron. Tiny Epic Quest. If you had to compare it to a large box game, a big box game, or another larger board game, what would you pair that with?
I haven't really thought about that before, and I can't really do. I can't give you an answer right now. That would take some time for me to think about.
Got any ideas, Wayne, or something that might compare to on a full scale board game?
If you played this, Tiny Epic Quest would feel like it.
That's a tough. The first thing that popped in the head, and it's not it's Descent, but that doesn't make sense.
Okay.
But it's an adventure game. You're running around, you're collecting spells, you're defeating goblins. So it is kind of like an adventure game.
Co-op or competitive?
No, it's competitive.
So, like Arnak at all? Arnak's got a worker placement, is it? But it's not really worker placement. No.
A little bit. You have sort of meeples that you're moving around.
All right, Ron, how does the game play? So on your turn, what do you do?
So, there's a day phase and a night phase. In a day phase, you move your heroes around to different locations. Where you can beat up goblins or set yourself up to go through a short little dungeon to get items, quest items, or you can learn new spells. But the spells is just really going up the spell track. And at nighttime, that's when you try to do a push your luck type thing with the dice to advance in the quest. And so I'm sure you've seen pictures of it before where they had there's the first game with the item meeples.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you're going through these dungeons to get these item meeples, and it's pretty cool. So that's why I like. Yeah, so it is Zelda, man. I get out Zelda music and I start playing.
I think of the there was a board game. It's an older board game. And it's kind of like D&D, and there's a map, and you're moving through, leveling up your character, and you're fighting quests.
See, here's the feelings I got from this, and it might be too recent for me, but you talked about push your luck. So you build your guy up, you get him leveled up, and then you push your luck at night and you go out, right?
Oh, I know where you're going.
We just played
Near and Far
this week, and it's very much that. I have my character. I can bring in some companions with him.
Yeah.
I'm in town. I'm upgrading him, and then I go out and push my luck with my health to try to complete quests, to gain resources, to fight bandits. But at a certain point, I'm going to run out of health and luck, and I got to jump back to town to be able to redo that.
Yeah, to be able to get your supplies back up.
Congratulations, you just convinced me to try out Near and Far.
Yeah, Near and Far. Near and Far is a good one. I have owned that game for years and never played it. I played Above and Below a bunch of times, but Wayne's got an idea here.
Runebound.
That's
okay,
the one. Runebound,
yes.
Okay.
It's like Runebound.
Okay, so kind of a little D&D type feel to it.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the game I was trying to think of, Runebound.
I haven't played Runebound either.
Yeah, me either.
I haven't played a whole lot.
How's the complexity of the game? Is it something that can be a casual game, or is this another one of those tiny epic big boxes crammed down?
My experience is on the lighter side of the Tiny Epic games.
Good. I like that.
It's a little bit on the lighter side.
What do you say?
I agree.
Okay.
100%.
And playtime, how long does a game of this take?
Well, solo, it can take about 30 to 40 minutes.
Yeah, like an hour.
Playing multiplayer, I think it depends.
Okay. Okay. Wayne was saying maybe about an hour.
Yeah. Depending on how many players and that, if you've played it before. But I think this is one of the more highly rated of the games.
Yeah, I got some AP players in my local play group.
So maybe a little longer.
You need a Mitch on your side.
Yeah.
Move things along.
Oh, man. That would...
He's like, I do.
Let me just leave it at that. Yeah.
He's going to fly Mitch out there to get his game group in shape.
Get kicking them in the butt a few times.
He can start a consulting firm.
Show them what it's like to
travel
get through
the country, teaching people how to play
games in a
faster.
night and get through stuff. Yeah.
We could make that a show.
Yeah, but,
we could pitch that to Netflix. Mitch comes in and coaches your game group into how to be efficient.
No food at the table.
Yeah, but one last thing. I think I mentioned on the Discord that I am definitely going to Dice Tower East.
Nice.
I'm going by myself, and I'm really looking forward to that. I anticipate getting the plays of lots of new to me games there, because that's where in conventions is where I get the most the most new game plays by far, and I'm sure I'm not the only person in that.
Me too.
In that place.
Oh no, yeah, me too. I play a lot of the classics with my friends. A lot of games we're familiar with. We introduce some here and there, but yeah, when I go to conventions, my big goal there is to learn new games, have people who've played games before teach me games, and we did that at the Dice Tower retreat. Mitchell and I spent part of a day, at least one whole night, pretty much teaching each other games that we knew that the other one didn't. So and that goes really well.
Oh, that sounds like a fantastic idea.
Oh yeah, it's good. You should definitely do it. So we'll do it at Dice Tower East. We got a good group from our local Tampa area here going, as we have for the last several years. And so Dice Tower East we'll do that. Maybe we'll plan part of a day or all of a day just doing that. Everybody grab a game that they've played that nobody else has played and just teach.
Yeah, Clash of Cultures. It's on.
Nope, that'll take all day.
You're on Catchapalooza.
All day.
We're not too far from seeing Iran, man. This is going to be great.
Yeah. And any news on the possible relocation? Have you heard anything else about that? Or
I did. They went. The interview I had, the company went with another candidate.
Oh, okay.
I got some other irons. Other irons in the fire, and we'll see.
Okay.
Update. So talking to my wife, I said, you know what? There's actually stuff. Because I'm open to like moving to Central Florida. She was the one that specifically wanted Orlando, and I said, "What about casting the net a little bit wider?" And she was cool with that.
All right.
And so,
Hey, we're only an hour from Disney.
Yeah,
Tampa Bay,
we're
baby.
an hour
Tampa
from Orlando.
Bay.
It's really we go to Orlando all the time. It's just an hour each way, so it's just down the road.
Easy trip, hour each way. We have Busch Gardens here. Got the beaches. Best sports teams in the nation.
So we'll see, because I'm looking at some positions in the Tampa area.
Nice.
So,
Well, I'll keep my candle lit for you, and whatever his will is, it is.
Yeah, keep us updated.
yeah. Well, dude, thanks for the call, guys.
Thanks for calling, Ryan. Thank you for being part of the show.
Thank me for your call. Have a good night.
I got a rematch with you, Ron. You beat me by 1 point in Seven Wonders Duel. Rematch.
No.
Yeah.
Undefeated, baby. You walk out, never play again. Take care, Ron.
Have a good night.
Okay. Take care.
That's Ron Frazier from Hotlanta. My man. Phone line's open, 813-618-7099. As you can see, I'm playing around, learning some stuff here. Shout out. Check it out here, folks. My pops popped in.
Oh, there you go.
To congratulate me on the show. He actually sent me photos today. He's back in Waterbury, New York, which is, I think, a mile away from Canada.
Cool.
So it's like right on the border of the U.S. and Canada. But he found a game shop out there.
Cool.
Went in there, took some pictures to show me what they got. So I know we played a board game here for the first time at home, so it kind of maybe sparked his interest a bit. That's pretty cool.
Another call coming in.
Mitch says he's calling his agent on the idea for our show that we came up with.
No, he's calling his agent for his for his consulting firm to teach people how to. For the show. Never mind.
Beans and Dice Podcast. State your name and where you're calling from.
Hey, it's BJ on a bridge crossing a long swamp.
Oh, all right. We must be somewhere in Louisiana then.
Any part of Louisiana.
Hey, Morgan Gumbo.
Hey, BJ, how are you?
What's up? What's up, guys? Great show, man.
Thank you.
Epic Quest, Tiny Epic Zelda. I totally agree with that. It's Zelda in a board game.
I got to play then because I'm loving, like I say, Breath of the Wild. I've always been a Zelda fan, but I just started playing Breath of the Wild. Like I say, the kid's Switch was just sitting there for a couple months. Nobody had touched it, so I was like, I'm going to pick this thing up. And I bought that game when I bought the Switch back at Christmas, and nobody had even
heard of it. There's a little company called Stonemaier Games, and they made a game called Viticulture World.
Haven't heard of it.
You guys heard of it? Stonemaier Games. Yeah, Viticulture World. Got it on the table this week.
Oh, you got it.
That's right.
Yeah. How is it?
So it's a cooperative version of Viticulture, as you guys know.
Yep.
I before we started the game, I looked at the people playing, and I said, before we start, let's talk about some impressions. What do we think's going to happen? And all of us were like, why do we need to play viticulture cooperatively? And that was kind of the impression we got. And at the end, we're like, this is actually pretty cool because it's ingenious. You are playing cooperatively. So think pandemic style. You're trying to do something to beat the game. But at the same time, you are working on your board. You're trying to build up your engine with your vineyards. You're trying to get your money supply going. And so that you feel like you got a part to play. I felt so much less the effect that an alpha gamer would have in a cooperative game because you really have to work on your board and people can't tell you what to do. They don't know what your engine is. You've got a plan.
I'm sold.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just saw the Four Squares review they did on Dice Tower, and after I had been hearing some hate for the game, after watching the Four Squares review, and they gave it, a 9, a 9, a 9, and an 8,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh boy, all right, this is...
And Tom is not a fan of co-ops as much. I think for the same reasons I'm not a fan of them because of the alpha gamer.
Yeah, sure.
Because Rob can't help himself.
Oh, no.
As polite as he wants to be, he cannot help himself.
True.
Yeah, it's the first couple of reviews kind of got posted. It was sort of not negative, but it was it's not necessary. It was really just play viticulture. But Alex from Board Game Co.
Yep.
and the Quackalope were like, we'd rather still play viticulture, but and I was pretty negative when it first came out because I was like, oh, why not? This should just be a separate game, it's, whatever. But then showed my wife about it, showed her, and she's like, oh, that looks kind of cool. I like viticulture, and we could play it cooperative.
Yeah, you were like Ralphie in Chris's story, like a stinking decoder ring.
I know.
When he finally revealed it.
I was a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, this is good. So
I think this would be perfect for it. So we only played it with 2 players, and then we're going to play with 3 players this weekend. But I think it would be perfect for those couples that do play viticulture, but, there's some disparity in the skills. Some people are good, some people are bad.
Sure.
Maybe it's always the same winners because you got that person that just always scores 30 points and everybody else is at 18, right? But in this game, 3 couples can play all together. They all have to work. They all got to get to that 25-point mark because that's how you win the game. Each player has to score 25 points in the 6 seasons, and you have to get your reputation up. So, and that's kind of a cooperative reputation. So I could see 3 couples having a Friday night wine and viticulture night, and they're all working together to beat the game. And of course, you got the replayability because it comes with all these different continents that you have to play.
Right. That's what
I don't know. It's only one play, guys, but I was very pleasantly surprised, and I went into it even though I am a Stonemaier boy. I like all the Stonemaier games. This is the one I kept going, why do I need Viticulture World?
And that replayability is what really sold me when I watched that, again, that Four Square reviews there on the Dice Tower, just seeing them talk about how I was afraid that the different decks, I forget how many decks there are, it's about 6 or 7 decks in there. 7 decks,
yeah.
that I was afraid that they were going to be just kind of almost a repeat of the same thing, that you're maybe a slightly different goal or whatever, but they mentioned in the review that each one of them plays pretty uniquely different, and you really have to attack them each different ways. So
I'm with BJ on that. Is the idea is, my wife and I love.
Sorry, the what is?
I like his BJ.
What was the word you said?
he said idea.
Idea. It's making from my New York accent.
New York.
But we like viticulture, but I don't like viticulture too, right? We like playing viticulture with other people. But if it's just me and her on a night, we can play Viticulture World.
Yep.
Cooperatively. And I like, as I've seen playthrough videos, the idea of upgrading spaces and covering up spaces and then the workers with the hats.
Yeah,
that kind of mechanism, it kind of sold me on. I'm really turning around on it.
All right, BJ, let me ask, because I don't like viticulture at 6, but you specifically mentioned Viticulture World at 6. What are your thoughts on length of play? Are your time between turns too long? Go.
Well, I don't know yet because we only played it at 2, so I'm saying that I think it could be good at 6. And I am that outlier. We play with a very fast group. Mitchell can attest to that. So we have literally 0 problems playing with 6 people. I mean, we play viticulture with 6 people in 70 minutes, 75 minutes.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Do you even stop to enjoy the game? Do you even enjoy the game? Or is this just an exercise?
I don't understand board games and enjoyment together. That doesn't go together.
It's an efficiency thing.
We're talking. Yeah, let's not get crazy. No, we actually do. I guess because we played it so often and we played it. We played it enough. Plus, the other thing is, we don't bog the game down by throwing in unnecessary things like Tuscany. We don't worry about that.
That's my man right there. Oh, where's my? I gotta find my achievement and my man.
Or your horn or something. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Achievement.
no
As I've
formaggio
told-
or
as I've
advanced
told-
workers.
As I've told Mitchell many times, the word essential is all you have to hear. It's Viticulture Essential Edition. That
Agreed.
means you don't need anything else. Now, I say that, and we do play with the Visitors from the Rhine Valley, because that's my favorite set of decks. That's my favorite set of cards. So when we play Viticulture, we like to throw in the Visitors from the Rhine Valley, and we actually use the Visitors from the Rhine Valley in the Viticulture World game. So, which you can do.
Yeah.
Well, Mitchell says you were speaking truth before you hated on Tuscany.
That's Mitchell.
I just think it's bloated and unnecessary.
I agree.
They took the
I
best
agree.
parts out of
100%.
and they threw it into Viticulture, and they made a beautiful game.
Rob can attest.
only took
I didn't
me
like the
4
game at
times.
all until
Got it.
Essentials.
Yeah.
Because I have the
There it is.
original. Does,
So, no, I
does the
don't-
new Essentials
I
have
don't know
the,
about the
the 4
playtime.
seasons?
Okay, so I believe it was who was it? Was it Rob Davio? No, it was Patchwork. Uwe
Uwe Rosenberg. Yeah.
chose the upgrades from Tuscany to add to Essentials. I think he picked 4 of them. So a very renowned designer chose 4 of the upgrades
Yeah.
from Tuscany to include into the Essentials edition, which made it perfect.
And here's the other thing. We're all from the South. We only have 2 seasons anyway.
It's either hot summer or cold summer.
Yeah, there
That's
you
it.
go.
I like the 4 seasons.
Yeah.
You're from New York.
What is this spring and fall thing? I've never even seen spring or fall. We
Alien-
go straight from winter to summer.
Alien concept. Yeah.
I do like the 4 seasons board, though.
Yeah.
The ability to
I'm
move
looking
between the
for-
4
I'm looking for-
seasons.
Oh, here comes Kyle. He
Look forward to
can't
hanging
help
out
but
with you guys at Dice Tower East. It'll be fun to see you guys again.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
Kyle disagrees with you. Before you go, I know you're probably busy, but before you go, I know you called about viticulture, but I want to hear about Sattler versus T-Rex. Like, that to me is more important than viticulture.
Okay, so I played it once, and I played it with my son Jack, and I'm going to tell you, look, I like Jurassic World. It's, they're good movies, right? But I'm not like a big Jurassic World fanboy or anything like that. This set is so much fun. I don't know why the critics and some of the reviewers are dogging on this set.
Yeah.
This set is a blast. T-Rex is fun with the 2 spaces. He's always in your face. He's got the big 27 or 25 hit points.
Did you
It
see the
feels like
size of
you
that
can
dial?
never-
Yeah.
It's the size of like a CD.
Yeah, it's huge.
It is amazing. And the Malcolm's kind of, at least in my first play, Malcolm was kind of a throwaway. He's really almost just cannon fodder for Ellie. But Ellie is fantastic to play. And I can't remember, maybe you guys can help me. There's another character that sort of reminds me of Ellie. But with Ellie's power is basically stay away from the dinosaur, try to build it all up, putting out these tokens on the board, and then as soon as you got the tokens out on the board, she becomes super powerful. Now,
who's the one with the
once you
rage?
spend that power, yeah, it's sort of like the rage from the
Little Red
The
versus
Beowulf
Beowulf?
Beowulf.
Yeah, Beowulf.
Beowulf.
yeah. So similar to that. It's kind of that concept, but she has that, and plus she just has all these little Jedi mind tricks that she plays on the dinosaur, and it's just so much fun. I really enjoyed it. It looks great on the table. It's a good addition. I don't like the fact that it's only got 1 map, but they seem to do that with the 2 ones. They don't seem to put 2 maps on it, so I was a little disappointed on that. I like the variety of having a bunch of different maps, but for me, 2 thumbs up. I really like the T-Rex.
Nice. Yeah, and that's the first.
I'm excited to hear that.
What do they call it? Large or huge figure? That's the.
Yeah, 2 spaces.
Yeah, it takes up 2 spaces.
And
yeah.
his melee attack skips a space.
Right, so he
So he's
can-
got like a range 2 melee
2
attack.
away, yeah.
He's a giant T-Rex. I think people are upset because the T-Rex is hard to beat. It's a freaking T-Rex!
It should be hard to beat.
I watched Tom's review, and he made it sound like the T-Rex is unstoppable. I'm telling you, the T-Rex is not unbeatable. The Ellie I snuck out a win from Jack by only 1 point, so it was pretty close. But I learned quickly, you got to stay out of the T-Rex's range. And that's the thing. This set is, and all of the unmatched sets are pretty thematic, right? I think we'd all agree
Sure,
that.
yeah.
This set is super thematic. The T-Rex plays exactly like you think. If he gets close to you, he is just going to take a chomp. And the cool thing is, if he hits you, he's going to hit you again and again. It's like these multiple attacks, which seems so much like the movie. So both characters play very, very thematically. I'm impressed. It's good.
Did you
They
enjoy
just keep-
painting up your sexy Ian Malcolm?
Well, he may not have gotten it. That's a very special one that only comes.
didn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Most people haven't
didn't
yet.
get
Yeah.
that.
I don't know if it's even out yet,
Yeah.
actually, but yeah.
So not just Tom, I think Z also did a review. I think the reviews I've seen of this, and I've not really played Unmatched, so you guys that have played more can say, is the complaint is that the T-Rex is going to be bad. He's going to kill any player that relies on close combat. So there are other characters from other sets. The T-Rex may not fit against other sets as well as other figures.
BJ, have you done Raptors versus T-Rex?
No, I haven't. I've done Raptors versus Engine and Raptors versus a couple. I like that Raptors. Not as much. I like the Raptors because, oh man,
They pop
so
around.
dangerous. If
They
you
move
surround
around.
a character, if you surround a character,
Yeah,
I
it's all
don't care
about
which character.
surrounding them and petting them in.
That
Yep.
character's in trouble.
That's why
But
I'm
of course,
excited.
they're-
I pre-ordered it from one of the websites, Mondo, I think it was. I'm waiting for my copy to come in. It might have been Miniature Market, but when it does come in, I'm going to do Raptors versus T-Rex. That's the first thing I'm doing.
That would be fun. The problem with Unmatched is not really a problem, but the problem with Unmatched is that I compare everything else now to Unmatched, which is just unfair. Like, I don't play Shadespire anymore. We tried out this little Disney one from the OP, which would normally be a pretty good game, except the whole time I'm sitting there going, I wish I was playing Unmatched. It's not that it was a bad game. It's just that I compare all of my skirmish games now to Unmatched because it's just such an elegant system.
Yeah, you talked about
I love
Shadespire. Shadespire is an awesome game. However, the Unmatched system with those Tannhauser tile or spaces, Tannhauser-like spaces, where it's so easy to tell what you have line of sight on because of the color of the spaces, it just takes away so much rules and lets you just enjoy the game. Unmatched is amazing.
So the other one was a Funkoverse. Is that the other game?
We bought a bunch of Funkoverse and then got away from it for Unmatched.
I've got tons of Funkoverse. Don't play it anymore because Unmatched. Shadespire, I've played probably 9 or 10 times. And I've played almost, I like to play the same character, but the guy I play against almost always plays a different character. And he's got everything ever made for Shadespire. But the problem I have is that, number one, it takes about an hour and 10 or hour and 15 minutes to play, whereas Unmatched you can get out in 30 minutes roughly. The other thing with Shadespire is that it's fiddly compared to Unmatched. Unmatched just feels elegant, whereas Shadespire is absolutely a deeper game. You can define your own decks, you can deck build, you can, it's lots of different strategies. But for me, for the guy that I have with the short attention span, I like Unmatched better.
Thank you, Bobby. Thank you for the phone call, man. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah, for
we
sure.
go real deep into these games, and your insights are awesome.
Well, it's great hearing somebody that we know that you've met that Tuscan that the viticulture world is living up to the hype that we've seen from more recent reviews.
Oh, and by the way, Kyle from Chicago says you're wrong about Tuscany.
Well,
He can't
I
help
don't know,
himself.
but I'm just going to say it's all in the answer to the question is in the question. It's Viticulture Essential Edition. Essential meaning you don't need anything else. That's it.
Yeah, Mitchell
All right,
chimes
guys,
in.
I'll see you at Dice Tower.
Oh, yeah, we will see you at Dice Tower. We're definitely going to reserve some time. We've got to play some games.
Laissez les bon temps, Rosé.
Absolutely. Au revoir.
English is not my first language.
Yeah, I flashed that up there earlier that Mitchell comes back. Tuscany has an essential edition, so there is a mix. But more than just about any game I think out there, Viticulture has so many different combinations of the stuff that you can buy. So, and it's not buying them all individually. They've got these prepackaged. There's Tuscany, there's Essentials Edition, there's Tuscany Essentials Edition. They've got, I think, 6 or 7 different SKUs just on the main game with different add-ins.
I try to keep it as base viticulture as possible, but I do love the
the Four Seasons board. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, the Four Seasons really opens it up. Yeah.
Kyle's in the chat saying Tuscany is called Essential Edition as well.
There you go.
How could
everything
can't be essential?
It's confusing. It's a Stegmeyer thing. Yeah.
Everything's I guess with Stonemaier games, for Stonemaier fans, everything is essential. You got to have it all.
Yeah.
I think we excited Ron Fraser with the
he put stuff in there?
Unmatched because
he's excited for the T-Rex.
Down for the T-Rex. Yeah.
I was going to say just real quick, we got a little bit of time left. We got if somebody wants to get in the last phone call, 813-618-7099.
Is that Diego Motorforce?
Yeah.
Motorforce is Diego.
I'll eat crow because I was with the when Viticulture World first was announced, I was like, I was old man in it. It was should be its own game, and I was down on it. So yeah, you were right. I calmed down and realized the error of my ways, I guess.
Yeah, Ron Fraser likes the Raptors too.
Yep,
Awesome.
Raptors.
Yeah.
But then he says, Beans and Dice Unmatched Tournament.
Well, we talked about that.
We're did it, done, and got the T-shirt.
Yeah,
I think I've hosted 2 tournaments now
we've done a
at
couple
your
ones.
turn.
Yep.
I bring all my unmatched stuff. I set up tables across the board, and I just random people show up. Whoever wants to come, I pair them off, and then we do like 3 rounds, round robin, and give points for victory. 3 points for victory, 1 point for loss, and then just kind of add up the total at the end of the game and see who wins and give out, I think Dan gave us some gift cards to give out.
Well, speaking of Dan, I don't know how much we want to talk about this or how public stuff is yet, but we are looking at hosting or co-hosting with a couple of different entities a convention of our own here in the Tampa area. The main coordinator so far is Dan over at Your Turn, a Board Game Cafe. We're going to be involved. There's a comic book artist, I forget the guy's name, who also wants to be partial host of it, and he's doing a comic book board game little convention. Dan, I think said it was looking around again. Some of this may be premature. Around 250 tickets. He's trying to. I don't think he's locked down a site yet, but he's looking for a ballroom at a hotel or something to host it. So this is again very premature, but this year before the end of the year, sometime we're looking to do something like that.
I think it's going to end up being like a multi-site thing. So like
Okay.
Your Turn as the base.
Okay.
And then using businesses nearby.
Okay. All right. So
For additional rooms. So kind of like downtown Zephyr Hills, almost like a little mini Dragon Con, but in downtown Zephyr Hills. So
Okay.
you go from building to building, and I think there's a board game shop a block away. A board game and card game shop
I
a block
forget the
away.
name, yeah.
Geez, how did I
They
forget
do
the
all
name?
the miniatures games there, right?
Yes, they do all the minis games. So like hosting minis games over there and kind of building that community in Zephyr Hills to throw it together. And he's invited us to be a part of it.
Yep, this is an evolving thing, but the main reason that I mentioned it is you were talking about an unmatched tournament. Maybe we do something like there. Maybe we host a few little tournaments. We, if there's going to be multiple locations, maybe we take one of those locations and do a tournament hall or something and have a few little tournaments on games. So maybe unmatched is something we set up there. So just a thought. I mean, this is, again, early and evolving. We'll talk about it more in the future, but you heard it here first.
I want to do a shout out to my buddy as we come to the end of the show. Shout out to my buddy Nick Oben. My buddy Nick Oben came through Dice Tower Retreat. I helped him out with some stuff, and he said he'd make it up to me, and he did. He came through this week, and he brought to me this amazing handcrafted wooden Renaissance Fair mug, in which I'm currently having a nice lager, a Yingling lager.
There you go.
Inside of this 16-ounce gorgeous. I love the Coke bottle or Coke glass shape to it.
Oh, yeah.
It's very nice.
Hourglass woman's figure almost, yeah.
Yeah, but yes, but the most important part is it comes with a leather strap. I can strap it to my belt, and I can walk around with my mug like
Now
I
you
do.
lost me. That's not
Nick
a
and I
thing.
were the only
Not a
one
thing,
at Dice
yeah.
Tower walking around with our mugs.
You caught a
attached to our
lot of heat
side.
from us about it, but yep. From the rest
I
of
got
the
one of
group.
those too. So don't worry about it.
Listen,
I
yeah.
got a leather thing that goes on the belt, holds the mug.
I had coffee with it. I had beer with it. I drank water out of it. It does its job. So thank you, Nick Oben. Also, announcements while we're here. We are set for August 20th for myself and Mike Partain, a gaming buddy of mine, for more wargaming style stuff. We're set for August 20th at Your Turn. We're going to be hosting a Memoir 44 tournament.
Okay.
And the designer, Richard Borg, will
Gonna be
be
there?
joining us at the August 20th tournament. That's the plan.
Nice.
So
Awesome.
we're going to come up with pairings. It's normally the way these tournaments work is you play a game of Memoir against an opponent, and then you swap sides, and then your total scores for that 2 matches are going to be the total for that set. Is that how they say it? Is it match, set, match?
Game, set, match.
Game, set? I don't know.
Yeah, games in a set, sets in a match.
You swap sides because it's asymmetric, right? And then, here's Mitch. Need a sippy cup lid? Robert needs a sippy cup lid.
Yeah, I've spilled one.
Mitch says, why do you need a strap?
It's gonna spill.
I don't spill my drinks. Robert
If you put
spills
it in
his
a
drink.
cup and strap it to your hip, I bet you spill it.
So we got August 20th, Memoir 44. And usually you do about 3 rounds. So it takes an
6
hour and a half
games?
a round.
6 games.
2 games in a round, hour and a half a round. And then at the end of the day, we're going to award prizes. I'm going to make some signs, some awards, some like plaques like that for the champion. that will hopefully get Richard to sign, so you can take home and put in your game room, signed by the designer himself.
Speaking of champions, when are we doing some crokinole?
Oh, we got to get back to that too.
Oh, yeah.
And now I can make some awesome trophies to go with it too.
Yeah,
plaque.
I need to win one, so let's do it.
Yes. So that's coming up August 20. Mark it on your calendar.
Cool.
And then in November, Your Turn convention with Beans and Dice being there. Mark that on your calendar. This Saturday is game day at Armada Games, starting at noon.
I believe noon, yeah.
Noon. They open at noon, starting at noon. I've got a 2 o'clock Clash of Cultures game. Outside of that, I'm going to be open the entire time to teach any of the Command and Colors games. I'm going to bring all my Commands and Colors games. For anyone that wants to learn how to play, I think, Wayne, you spent some time with me playing Command and Colors Red Alert.
It was fun.
The space version.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bring some of those as well.
I'm doing Arc Nova. Did you say you were in or out on Arc Nova? You've gone back and forth on that.
Not at 4 players, I ain't playing Arc Nova.
Oh, no, we're definitely not doing 4. Again, it's either going to be 2 or 3, but
I'll do 2. I might do 2.
we've got 3 games going on now.
wow.
Right now, 3, 3, and 2. So if you joined in, it would probably be 3, 3, and 3. But yeah.
It's going to have to be sometime after 5,
Okay.
because I've got Clash of Cultures, at least 3 hours of that.
Gotcha. Okay.
So in the evening.
Yeah.
All right.
I just won't ever do Arc Nova more than 2 again, I think.
You coming out?
I will be in St. Augustine.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll be at a wedding for St. Augustine.
What games are you taking with you?
I bring some Tiny Epic with me.
All right. There you go.
We'll see.
The travel game.
Well, I'll probably bring a couple kids games. It's going to be, it's wedding weekend and then sports thing going on. My soccer team's playing in a big cup championship on Saturday.
Nice.
So we're getting up early to get up to the bar up in St. Augustine.
Oh, there you go. That's important.
Yeah. 11 a.m. kickoff. So
Yeah.
we got to
Nice.
quick. So,
Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, that gets us to our 10 o'clock hour. That one flew by fast.
That was quick.
Just
Yeah.
a few phone calls, but very deep conversations
Yeah. Good stuff.
on those phone calls. I sent the sign out to Kyle out in Chicago. So he got his sign that he won last week.
Nice.
And paid me compliments on the sign, how gorgeous it was. So
Cool.
I'm glad to see he was the winner on it. That was pretty cool.
Nice.
So I know how much of a viticulture fan he is.
Awesome. I will be bringing Can't Stop with me.
Oh, okay. Can't stop.
Oh, my little version of Can't Stop.
I taught my 8-year-old Can't Stop this week, and he risks more than I do.
Oh, really?
I'm like,
Push it.
he's rolling. I'm like, you want to stop, buddy? He's like, no, I want to keep going.
Thought I was going to win this last game, and you pushed, and beat me. Came from behind. I swore I had this one locked up, but nope, I cannot win that game.
I'm currently making my 2.0 version of it, so it's going to be a bigger board. Instead of that, I think that board was like a 7-inch board. I'm making a 10.5-inch board. The pieces are about 1 inch. And I also designed and made my own climber meeples to go on that board. So instead of a disc as your climber, you're gonna have little meeple dudes that you'll use as your climbers. So I'm really iterating. I'm really loving Can't Stop, and I'm hoping to be able to share that love by maybe even doing a tournament of Can't Stop, because it's just so fast.
Yeah, I like it.
I just looking. I remember I had another game scheduled for Saturday. Obsession. I'm going to play Obsession for the first time. Raphael's going to be teaching that.
Not even familiar with it.
Really looking forward to that one. So I'll tell you about it later. Let's wrap up the show.
Oh yeah, phone lines are not open. Let me turn that off.
Oh.
I'm learning a lot.
Oh yeah.
On how to play.
Too
all
many
these
things to
tools.
do over there. But yeah,
scrolls and stuff. Yeah.
All right, so we are the Beans and Dice podcast. We hang out, we do games, and we do this Thursday night show with y'all, and we thank you for doing it each week with us, and we hope to see you next week. We'll say our goodbyes here because I'm Carlos.
I'm Rob.
I'm Wayne.
And we're a podcast about how we game. Please join us next week, Thursday night. We're going to talk to you next week about all the games we played at game day, do a full recap for you, and then we will get in a topic. I really love that topic about what Wayne brought up. Go through the list of the Tiny Epic
Epics.
games
Compare.
and then compare. So we'll update you on what we've been gaming, and then we'll give you we can do that as a podcast.
Yeah, it'd be good.
Because don't forget, our podcast is there on any one of your podcast RSS feeds that you have. You can find us on iTunes. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on iHeartRadio, I think it is. And pull our podcast and listen to us, because that's where we really get deep. Like this show, there's a lot of interruptions with the call, which we don't mind. It's exactly what we want. But the podcast, we get real deep on our game. So maybe we'll make that a topic for the podcast.
Sure.
Sweet.
Good night, folks.
Good night, everybody. Thanks
Good
for
night.
watching.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for watching the Beans and Dice podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe.